It.
Okay, there we go. Oh my gosh, that was like a long pause after I hit the button, and I forgot to breathe too. So I was like, "Oh man." Whoa. Anyway, hey, good evening, shifties. I said that last time. I don't know if I'm going to keep saying that, but welcome
I
back
like
to Shift the Journey. My name is Tito Amogus. I'm your host. I am your producer, director, and probably my number one fan too. I don't know, but today, well, okay. So what is Shift the Journey? This is where I get to come on here just about every Monday, almost every Monday, and just talk to a different person about their career. And so we know that a career path is not a straight line. It's never been a straight line. I don't know whoever said it's a straight line. It's not a straight line. Those are all lies. And so every now and then we go, hey, I don't think I like where this career is going. I want to make some kind of change. And then you go, "Whoop," and then it's like, oh, you go over here and you go there. But sometimes people think about making some type of career shift and don't know if it's possible. We're here to tell you that it's possible. We can't give you the blueprint, but we can tell you it's absolutely possible and you are not alone. So today I have the pleasure of interviewing Abe Diaz. Abe Diaz, woo! I don't
Thanks.
have any special effects, so it's just me going.
No
And so
worries.
we have Abe Diaz. Abe Diaz is a Power BI specialist, correct? And
Something
he
like
is
that.
he is a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And oh, look at this. So is that the Abe Diaz? In fact, it is.
It is Matthew. It is.
So thanks for tuning in. All right, so let's start off. Where are you from originally?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on, Tito. Really appreciate it. So where am I from? I'm originally from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Born in Miami.
Okay, all right. And then, so did you join the Marines right after high school, or was that did you go do other things?
No, I was one of the kids that I definitely needed the military. I saw the recruiter when I was in like ninth or 10th grade in high school, and I was like,
Mhm.
I like how that guy's dressing. So that's what I want to do. So I didn't even like think about college. I didn't even take the SATs or any of that,
Mhm.
whatever it's called nowadays. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to enlist. And like September 2009, I enlisted.
Oh
I
yeah.
went to MAPS, did the whole right thing. So I was in the delayed entry program my entire senior year.
Oh wow, your entire senior year, man,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Did
So I
you were
wanted
you
to.
like, yeah? So you like the whole time you're like, yeah, I'm can't wait. I'm going.
Yeah,
Right?
pretty much. Like about a month or so after graduation, like right after my 19th birthday, I was gone.
Wow. So what is that experience like for you? That like going from senior in high school to boom, you're in boot camp.
For me, it was kind of like surreal because I was like, it's been building up for so long. Like I knew that's what I wanted to do, and
Yeah.
then when I got to Paris Island, I was just like, oh snap, I'm like here, and it's like these are all like the movies and like the recruiters would tell you and stuff. So I didn't think it was that hard. I mean, my parents and stuff were always yelling at me for probably the right reason.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like used to it and like
Yeah.
just being talked to like that. But I don't know. I just thought it was surreal. It was cool. I was like, wow, I'm here. I'm like doing the Crucible or I'm doing all this stuff. So yeah, yeah, it wasn't hard, but it was overall surreal for me, I guess.
All right. So how long were you in?
I did 10 years. I got out. I did
Whoa.
2010, 2020. Yeah, I know, right? It would have been at 14 years
Whoa.
right now. I know.
That's crazy. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, like crazy, crazy, or like a little bit crazy. It depends, like where you are on that. I know that when I hit 10 years, I had to think about it. I was really looking at going to school, University of Georgia, and like, could I do it? With a wife and three kids and a whole lot of debt? No, not without like working 15 jobs and going to school full time. It wasn't going to work for me, but I've seen it work for other people. So, where
Yeah.
were you stationed in those 10 years?
So I went not a lot of places that like a lot of my other buddies went traveled a lot. But I'm kind of traveling more now, so I guess it kind of works out. So
Okay.
I was first due station in Okinawa, Japan. I did that for two
Oh,
years.
okay.
Then I did two in Camp Lejeune. Then I finished up on recruiting, and then I got out. I recruited
Oh.
in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Oh, wow. Did you
Yeah.
choose Michigan?
You can do like a by name request, as they say, but I didn't
Uh-huh.
really have like, I was single at the time. I didn't really care where I went, so I was just like, oh, we'll see what happens, right? We'll let them pick. We'll let them pick.
So you're born and raised in Florida, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go live in like the Detroit area, right?
No, I didn't say I wanted to live in the Detroit area. I was just like, oh, we'll see, because I didn't really think it was like real, like by name request. I was just like, yeah, we'll see where I
Yeah.
go. So I know I just kind of just I rolled the dice and kind of let fate take control.
Yeah. What was your experience there going to that cold weather place?
It sucked, honestly. Like I hate the cold. It wasn't fun. I mean, recruiting made it worse. You know,
Oh
I
man.
remember like trying to hunt people down, and I'm wearing like my what are the service deltas, I think, the dress blue pants and the and the short sleeve brown shirt. And just like stepping in snow, like way past my ankles, almost to my
Oh.
knees, and I was just like thinking a lot of stuff to myself, but
Oh man.
yeah, it
Tell
was
you
rough.
what though. Tell you what though. I mean, weather aside, one thing about the Marines that I always thought is like, man, you guys are always dressed like to the nines. Bam. And you guys have like a million different uniform combinations. All I
Yeah.
had in the Air Force were, I don't know, just a few things, and everything was the same color, of course, either blue or camouflage. But you guys had all these different combos. And
Yeah, it was
so,
nice.
yeah, so you got to 10. Were you married when you were at 10?
No, I wasn't married. I so funny story. So I was starting to think I was like a little iffy about staying in around like year 7 or 8. I was just like,
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know. Not, I love the Marine Corps. It was great. I'll forever be grateful for it. But I was just feeling at the time like I just became interested in other things or just like the possibility of other things. Um, so funny enough, I met my wife. Um, and she got into graduate school for her doctorate, oddly enough, in my hometown. And
Wow.
then like she went down there 2 years before I got out. So it was a lot of different things going
Oh,
on.
yeah.
So it just kind of made sense. I just felt like, okay, I'm thinking about getting out. My fiance, is back home in my hometown. We'll be there for a little bit. So I just
Mhm.
kind of, rode down that path.
Okay. And then I know when we met, I was trying to remember when we met. It was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Do
we
you
did like
remember?
some veterans like thing. It was like share your dashboard or something. I don't know.
Tableau user group, right? With
Yeah,
Ethan
yeah,
Lang. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. Shout out Ethan,
And
veteran
yeah,
stud.
right. And you were, I thought you were either you were in Kansas City or headed to Kansas City.
Either I don't remember. I did live in Kansas City. We
Yeah.
left there last year. So we
Oh,
were
that's right. Now
yeah,
you're in Minnesota in the cold
yep.
weather again.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty mild winter. It wasn't bad. We could have moved this year, but we was like moving for a third year in a row. Not having the military helped out, just stress, money, cost of moving and stuff. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
not that bad here. We'll stick it out for another year, and then see reevaluate and see where we want to go next.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what is it that you did other than recruiting? What is it that you did in the Marines?
So my main MOS, I was 3051 supply warehouseman. So basically just did like supply warehouse stuff, supply admin stuff for the most
Hmm.
part. I was a GCPC government credit card holder one time, not very good one, but I was one.
What does that mean? Like
Uh,
you're the one that ordered all this stuff?
Yeah, so I was like the warehouse chief at the time, and like you can have like a credit card. So like I would like so the units or the sections would be like, hey, we need this stuff. I was supposed to go through all the checks and make sure it was legit and
Uh-oh.
stuff, and then I would just get the quotes. I would do the right things. So I thought it's a very you have to really know the orders and what you're
Uh-huh.
supposed to be doing. But I just all right, I got the quote, swipe the card, should be good. So yeah, that was an interesting time having the credit card auditor kind of have some stern talks to me about stuff I
Oh
did or why I
boy.
did this. Yeah,
Oh
didn't do
boy.
anything
Yeah.
bad. I was just like skip some steps.
Yeah. That's a lot of that's a big weight of responsibility right there.
Right. Yeah. And I was just like, okay. I
Woo.
mean, if you guys want to give me a credit card, it's on you, right?
Yeah. So, what caught your eye about a career in data? Like what part of like your journey was where you're like, oh, I want to go into data?
Yeah, so I originally thought I wanted to be like a financial advisor. So I was like, okay, I'll get out. On like right before I was getting out, I was like networking with other financial advisors. Some of them were veterans, just like seeing how it was. And then I found out it was going to be like all sales again, and it wasn't
Oh,
like, yeah, like it was different than what I thought. Long story short, so then I was just like, yeah, no thanks. So then I got out. I was already enrolled in school for my MBA in finance. So I was like, okay,
okay.
I'll just like keep going. Honestly, like so when I got out, my biggest thing was I got to work full time and I got to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like a lot of veterans when they get out, like not that they don't have a lot of them don't have a plan or they don't have a very good one, but I just
No,
broke it
yeah.
down to two things. It's like work. I was gonna take jobs at like Home Depot or something like work and school full
Uh-huh.
time, then I'd be good to go.
Mm,
So then I found in like my first semester in like my ISM class, I found like one of the weeks was business intelligence and data analytics, and I was like, this seems
mm,
cool. And then about a week or so later, I attended like a veterans seminar with like Morgan Stanley, just talking about like
okay.
different careers with veterans, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the jobs was wealth data analytics. So I said, all right, this seems really cool. I could do something with finance, and then I could do something with data. So then around like August or October, November 2020, that's when I started like checking out, what is data essentially.
Yeah. So, did you finish your MBA or did you decide to go a different route?
No, I finished it. I finished like December 2021. I finished it.
Mm,
Yeah, so I've been done about however long whatever the math is from
yeah.
then to now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Excuse me.
no
Oh
problem.
man, this cough. I was like feeling it coming and I was like, don't be an
We'll
attack.
edit that
Oh,
out. Probably not. I don't know.
oh yeah, no. Not on the live stream. So what was your approach for finding your first data job?
Honestly, it just kind of found me, to be honest. So my first job out of the Marine Corps, I was another funny story. So like a Marine that worked as a ROTC instructor in Michigan. He moved down to Florida just before I did. He saw I was there, interviewed me. I got a job. I worked in real estate collections. So,
Oh,
yeah, so essentially it was like HOAs. So like
mhm.
if people were delinquent on HOAs, we were like the HOA fees. We were like their attorney. So like
Yeah,
we would get all the information. I would like be googling like people, make sure like verify they live there. Their different property records checks or whatever it was, and then like I would like fill out like the financial statement for the like according to the system. I was using a lot of smart sheets at the
yeah,
time, which was pretty cool. And then like my part was just like pretty much data entry. I would just like put all the information in, and then like they would have a certain time frame until it goes to our next department, whatever it was.
yeah.
So I got it. So I was working that job. I got into data. That's when I connected with Albert Bellamy. I think like November 2020. So our anniversary is coming up. If he's listening, um,
Shout out Major Data.
shout out Major Data. So I connected with him, and then I was just connecting with all the different data people, networking, joining different groups.
Yeah.
Um, and let's see. So yeah, so then getting to my first data job, I was posting a lot on LinkedIn, which
Hmm.
reminds me of Albert. So basically, he's big on LinkedIn. But I just did everything he said to do when it came to posting the LinkedIn, like posting your projects and engaging with people and all the things. And then I was a part of the economics and finance club of my school. I was like the president, believe it or not. I don't know. It was a kind of weird time because it was like we were hybrid because COVID was still kind of a thing. Well, not so
Yeah.
much in Florida, but people, the school was kind of hybrid with everything. So I was part of the EFA, Economic Finance Association, and then I met someone. He's a CPA. He ended up becoming my boss at the school. He is a financial director at the school, and then he was like, "Hey man, I like your posts on about Tableau and this and that. Do you want to come, build Power BI stuff for me at Nova?" So then I was at my first job for about a year. Then I was a financial analyst at NSU for a year. I didn't really do any type Power BI. We just didn't end up doing it. But I
Yeah.
was doing a lot of Excel, I was doing a lot of learning that way, just kind of building like financial reports and statements.
Yeah.
And then from there, I moved to Kansas City, so I had to leave that job. So yeah, I'll stop there in case you have another
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. No. So I remember this is like where I came into the picture, right? Because we were talking like you were moving to Kansas City. Oh yeah. And then so we connected. I showed you some Alteryx stuff. And
Yep,
then
thank
I
you.
was like shooting you some like every time I saw a job posting, I'm like, hey. And then you're like, oh, I'm gonna be wherever, right? And so yeah. Um, so would you say that like what would you say where would you put the importance of networking? Like we talk about networking every week, I feel like, but like where for you, where would you say the importance of networking is?
It's like it's got to be number one or tied with something, because like literally all the jobs I've gotten out of the Marine Corps have been from LinkedIn and networking. Because like
Yeah.
people say, it's who you know, but it's who knows you, right? I can know
Mhm.
people, but if they can't give me a job or help me out, then but if you know someone, if you networked with them and you have a rapport with them, they're like, oh hey, I remember Abe, I remember Tito from whatever. Let me reach out, see what's going on with them. And that's pretty much how I've gotten my last couple of jobs. So networking is absolutely like you got to do it, right? You
Yeah.
just you just can't not do it.
Yeah. So do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm pretty extroverted, I would
Yeah.
say. Yeah,
Did
kind
you
of
did you
wild.
did you ever have a problem with networking? Like face
No,
to
so
face or
like
anything?
recruiting, like that was like the best. As much as it
Oh,
sucked and I
yes.
hated it every single day, wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy at all. Um, it was the best thing I could have did. Honestly, it was
Oh,
because
really?
because it taught me like how to speak, right? Like military people, military guys, we all talk and stuff. But it taught me like how to not speak like that, how to be professional, or how to speak more professionally, how to translate my skills from like the civilian world, from the military to civilian speak, how
Oh,
to do
yes.
public, how to do public speaking, and just basically like consultative selling. It's like we all kind of do it, right? So like we build rapport, we explore, we ask questions, we enable, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Look at that. That's wow, look at that quote. That is a quality piece of information right there from Mr. Abe Diaz.
I don't
It's
know.
not who you know, it's who knows you.
Yeah, I think Sun Tzu said that, but I don't know.
Oh yeah. Well, it's
Probably.
okay. You know, you can write a book too and call it Abe's Art of War. But
Sure.
well, he's going to come back and he's going to sue you. No, he's not around anymore. But anyway, so yeah, we talk about networking every week and talk about the importance of it. And it's funny because I'm an extrovert, but there were times where I was like, oh my gosh, you know, uh, um, I don't know if I can go talk to this person or that person or whatever. It's like obviously it seems more like easier in some ways, to be, ooh, I'm a keyboard networker, right? Obviously, I mean that's how we met.
Right.
But for people who are coming from, working in the home office, working remotely and are wanting to head off into another direction, make a career shift. Do you have any advice for somebody who's like trying to do that to
Yeah.
go in, as far as like networking goes? How do you get somebody to come out of their shell and go network? Do it.
Yeah. I
Knife
mean,
hand.
yeah. Definitely not knife hands. That probably will make them go and make show more. Um,
Right.
Honestly, you just have to like. For me, I mean, you just got to realize like, all right, it's kind of like a simple logic question. Like I need to get this thing right, or I want to do this thing, and like backwards plan. All right, what do I need to do to get there? Do I need a network? Am I a bit shy? Okay, sure. So if you're coming from like a working from home or whatever, and you want to go into somewhere new, I would say, and take it with a grain of salt, or you start online, of course, right? Obvious, do just follow whatever Albert says to do, and then like
Right.
go out and meet people, right? There's like meetup groups, like I've done them a few locally. Power BI, I need to do some more, and just meet people online, right, on LinkedIn, and then try to connect with them in person as well. They say there's like you meet someone that's in Minneapolis, there's a local Power BI media group. Kind of get some familiarity going, right? So you're not just walking in there a room completely full of strangers.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
that'd be like my big piece of
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah. And so you mentioned something earlier also when you were talking about being a recruiter and learning how to speak, learning how to translate what you did in the military to civilian. Um, do you have any advice for anybody who's trying to do that? Because I, for one, when I got out of the Air Force in 2015, I don't know, man. I applied for 101 jobs and got 6 interviews and 2 offers. And the worst part of that whole thing was trying to tell people what I did in the military. It's like, what did you do? And I'm like, oh, Air Force speak, Air Force terms, Air Force acronyms, blah, blah, blah. And people were like, bro, I don't even know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for translating?
Yeah, so I would say like, understand what you like want to do first or what you're looking to get into, and then like look at your resume and like they said in recruiter school, like get rid of all the acronyms, get rid of all like the military buzzwords and all that stuff. And honestly, like I feel like I'm like advertising for Albert pretty much for just hit him up for your resume. Yeah, hit him up for your resume because like he took all of my nasty resume and like completely like converted it.
Nice.
So yeah, I would just say hit him up if you want to, but also but more importantly, like understand what you're looking for and like what you did, right? So like I did supply, right, and like managed $1.5 million warehouse of military equipment, blah blah blah. That's an easy example to kind of translate over, but just like take
Hmm.
that and like okay, how can I translate that to what I'm looking to do? And
Yeah.
also just chat gpt I guess helps with that stuff too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Translate
No,
from military talk to not military talk.
yo, yeah. I mean, I tell people that all the time, who ask and say, hey, every experience that you've had, like work wise, can be, applicable, is translatable. You just have to know how to translate it. And
And
so,
it's not.
yeah, shout,
Yeah.
shout out again to Albert Bellamy. That's major data to you, right?
Yeah.
The
and
Marine who
also
smiles at spreadsheets.
and also it's like I think we all focus on like the tangible stuff, like I
Mm,
did
right.
this thing, right, but a lot of it is like intangible, right? Like
Soft
you
skills.
can't like some of my infantry friends, like it's kind of hard to translate, like you shot machine guns for 40 years, right?
Right.
But I'm sure you've led people in that field and manage, like inventory manifests, gear checks, stuff like that. So like I would say just focus so much if you're having a hard time translating your military stuff. I would say focus on like the intangibles, like because you definitely manage people. That's a great skill to have. To obviously people want to hire for, of course.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, all right. So, like, we talked about the different aspects of your career and your career shift and things that you would, you know, advice that you would give to people who are wanting to make a shift. What is something that you are involved in now? Could be work related or not work related. That is like unique that you're passionate about.
So let's see. I guess right now, I have been building up like co- substats, which is like my data analytics, jujitsu thing that I've been sitting on for a while, but finally kind of getting it, making a lot of progress with it. I was part of the Veterans Tablet User Group. Everybody should go check them out, join all their meetings and stuff. I was doing that, but kind of had to step away since I was very busy with work. I had very busy with work and travel in the last couple of months. But I'd say the main thing I'm doing right now is, substats, just trying to get that going, trying to help other jiu-jitsu competitors analyze their data.
So I like watching MMA, and so I know what jujitsu is. But could you explain for the audience, people maybe who don't know what jujitsu is? Can you explain that to them?
Yeah. So how do you explain jiu-jitsu? Um, so jiu-jitsu is a ground-based grappling martial arts, whose foundation or focus is leveraging, technique, for the smaller person, to gain, to be able to overcome the larger opponent.
Man, that's really good. There's translation right there. You're
There you
trying not
go.
to use things that like you would use in the jujitsu world. And then if I didn't know what jujitsu was, if I was one of those people who didn't know, then that would be a good explanation. Look at that. You have a cheerleader out there. Major Data is just throwing out all the things. Jokes out the competition. Yeah. So remember, I said I feel like I made a promise when I posted about the show that if you're gonna tune in, you're gonna find out what a data strangler is. Like, what is that?
Yeah, so honestly, someone on LinkedIn, forgive me who if I forget who it was, but someone commented on one of my jujitsu posts a while back, a long time ago, and they're like Data Strangler, and I was like, I'm stealing that, and that's gonna be my job title on LinkedIn. So honestly, I just thought it was like funny and cheesy to kind of use, but I mean, essentially, I'm just like a data analyst, looks at data and just strangle it, I guess if you'd say.
Yeah, yeah, and it's I really play on the jujitsu thing. So,
Yeah.
what's your involvement in jujitsu? Like, do you do tournaments? You travel for tournaments?
Oh yeah, well right now I've just ended like my string of work travels. I went on site for Germany for a couple weeks. Then I went to Zurich in between that. Then I went to Rome after my work
Oh
trip.
my
Then
gosh!
I yeah, then I was home for about a week. Then I went to Florida for like 3 days back home. Then I went to Phoenix for the conference last week. So training and stuff hasn't been happening a lot the past couple of months, but whenever I do travel, I do like to train. I am a very active competitor. Not lately because I've been pretty busy. But yeah, I do like to travel, like to train. I train jujitsu like at least 5 days a week. At least one session a day. I do MMA on Sunday with one of my buddies who's prepping for his second fight. Not
Ooh,
striking or anything. I just like help him with like wall wrestling and just MMA wrestling and stuff.
cool. Do you have like I don't know how you say it. Does your dojo have a belt rating system, and what are you?
Yeah, yeah, they all do. So I'm a blue belt, which is like
Oh,
so there's white, blue, purple, brown, black. So I'm like a quarter of the way there, I guess.
yeah. Not
I've been
AKA not a beginner.
yeah.
Don't
So
mess with this guy.
please don't. I mean, I wish so. Some days I wish someone would, but I would rather not. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I wrestled 2 years in high school, so I have like some
Okay.
familiarity. I did some grappling in the Marines and stuff. Then like about a year and a half after I got out, I like put on some weight. I'm like pretty short. I'm like 5'7", so I was like 200 pounds. I just felt like
Oh,
gross. Yeah, so
you
then I
feel like
just
5'7" is short?
yeah,
I have to go back and
short
reassess
king.
my. I got to reassess myself, like my self image. Wait a minute. What? 5'7" is short? So I
Short
can
king.
call myself a short king because I'm just under 5'8"?
Yeah,
Oh
join the
man,
club.
we in there. All right, we in there.
So before I started training again, I just like looked. I saw a picture of myself at the beach, and I was like, "Oh my god, this I gotta change. Something's gotta change." So like
Yeah.
I started training again, like right before my 30th birthday, and then I did my first competition at the time. It was like 5 or 6 years, and I
Yeah.
did really well, and I just got hooked again. So I've
Mm.
been training just over 3 years again. Got,
Wow,
got my blue belt last August.
that's cool. Hey, what
Yeah.
were the so like when we were talking in the studio before we went live, you said you wanted to share something. What
Yeah,
was that?
yes. So
Share
this
your
is
screen.
like, yeah, so this is just something I've been working on for Substats.
I think
Um,
you have to share it again, and then I have to share. Oh, here we go.
can you see it?
There it is. There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I'm in
so
there.
this is a jiu-jitsu athlete report. Basically, it's breaking down like how many went. Like it just breaks down different type of criteria that I put. Um, Most importantly, like offensive threats, defensive threats, your different ratios, how you win, whether by submission or by points. Breaks down each match by points, and then what's really cool is it takes the data automatically. So essentially how this works is someone either someone wants to fill out their data for them, and there's going to be super detailed instructions whenever I release this. They're gonna watch their matches, fill out their data, drop it in like a
Oh.
portal, and then this report will email to them fairly
Oh.
quickly. Or for a little bit more, because this ain't free. It's cost, this is all
Oh yeah.
expenses. This is all expenses for now.
Yeah.
So essentially, if someone doesn't want it, I'll do it myself. I'll like watch the videos, I'll like analyze it, and then I'll drop it in AWS portal, and then this like automatically prints sends them this report right here. So it just breaks down offensive successes, gives kind of like a key takeaway from each category. Breaks down offensive attempts. How many moves did I attempt offensively? It looks like in this scenario, the athlete attempted sweeps from the bottom more. And it kind of gives you a little breakdown here. Then defensive move analysis. What moves was I defending the most against? What moves I had the most success against. I'm sorry, and then what moves I kind of failed to stop here. This is a bad example. I know probably some of these numbers and stuff, these charts don't make sense, but it's all testing so far. This position analysis, this is actually going to come out because this is the most tedious part. It's like starting and stopping the video, kind of counting, how much time you were each at this position. And
Oh
this is
yeah.
like the latest part right here. It's kind of gives you an entire breakdown of overview of like essentially the data,
Oh.
all the matches so far.
That's the
So this is what,
actual analysis.
yeah, this is like an actual write up.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I am definitely not coding all this up myself. I found a guy on Fiverr. So I was sitting on this idea for about a year, and I was doing the
Mm-hmm.
analysis myself. And I was like, "There's got to be a better way." Every time I think about that, I think about every time Matt Bratton posts about something like that. Like, there's got to be a better way, right? So instead of me trying to do it, like I just found someone on Fiverr, really cool guy, and he's been coding up this program for me. So essentially, like he's been, it's not too expensive, but it's a bit of an investment. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so essentially, like someone gets their data, they code it, drop in a system, it produces a report to them, within seconds.
Man, that's cool. So Fiverr, that's where you find freelancers, right?
Yeah, pretty much, right? I just found like one of the first dudes I saw, and he was pretty cool. So I was just like, okay, hey, well, he was helping me with some Power BI stuff, and then I was like, hey, do you know Python? And then yeah, then that's how we started with this. So like consultant helping a consultant. It's like
Yeah.
what's that one movie called with Leonardo DiCaprio, and they just keep going.
Oh, Inception.
Yeah,
Yes.
consultantception.
Yes. Oh, my week is not complete unless I reference that movie, at work or in the show because there's always something. Yeah, I worked with I remember I had a project with a client, I don't know, months back, and they had a process that like took the numbers from here and did a formula to get this thing over here, which then they used to get the thing over here. And I'm like, what's the actual data that you're using? And it's like, yeah, no, that's Inception. So I get it, man. So man, you had a really, really interesting career journey. I feel like you dropped like nuggets of wisdom over the last uh 33 minutes. You're just like ba-doom, 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 leaving breadcrumbs for people. Is there anything that you can think of that you didn't talk about that would be helpful for somebody who's either coming from the military and going to the civilian world, or going from a career and they want to make some type of shift into another career?
Anything? I would say just like I guess the biggest thing coming into data is like there's a lot of noise and stuff. Like learn this, learn that. Pulling all these different directions. Do this many courses, project portfolio. I would say, you know, there's going to be a lot of noise, right? But like
Hmm.
and like you don't know what you don't know, right? So we all get caught up in
Right.
the initially, but once you
Hmm.
understand, like okay, I've been an analyst for a while. I got my portfolio. now I'm at the point where like I don't feel like I don't need to be constantly posting or talking about our portfolio. Like Substats is my like forever portfolio. So,
Yeah.
um, but just like once you find like once you find what you want to do or you think you want to do, and it might change. Circumstances, feelings, and goals change. Just always keep like the end in mind, right? Like there's gonna be a lot of noise, but just keep the main thing the main thing. Keep focused, and be open to shifting if you have to.
Oh yeah. Circumstances, feelings, and goals change. That's another good one, man. It's just like ding, 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 just throwing
So
them out there.
that's what they say. That's what they would say on recruiting. It's like people's circumstances, feelings, and goals would change every 90 days. I thought it was kind of like okay, whatever. You're just saying that to get us. But it didn't. I don't know about strict 90 days, but they do change, right? You
Yeah,
know, you
yeah,
might not.
definitely.
You think I might be interested in one thing today, and a couple months from now, might be totally different.
Yeah, that's true. And look at this. We got a LinkedIn user. It's funny because sometimes I don't know. It's like privacy settings on people's LinkedIn. They post something in the chat, and I think on LinkedIn we'd be able to see who they are. But in StreamYard, it says LinkedIn user. So LinkedIn user is trolling you. I don't know who they are.
Well, actually, it's kind of like I would say it's a not a bad catfish. I would say, right? So like I've even before the military, I've always had like a low cut fade, lined up this and that. And like a year ago, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna grow my hair out. I've never had my hair long. Let's just see where it goes. So
Yeah, I said that too, and it just never came back. But
yeah, I'll be 33 next month, so it's now or never before I
oh
start
yeah, yeah, yeah. True,
before I
true.
start losing it.
Yep, yeah. Well, I have they say that you get your baldness from your maternal grandfather and your baldness pattern from your father. I don't know what happened there because my maternal grandfather was like 90 when he died and he had a full head of hair. He was like always combing his hair. My dad, however, we have the same hairstyle. I don't look like him in the face, but everybody knows we're related because we have the same shaped head. I'm just a little bit bigger than him. But anyway, oh, what is this? LinkedIn user. Just keeps showing up. Yeah, I don't think anybody's like LinkedIn headshot looks like they look unless they're like brand new. Mine was taken in my first civilian job. So if you look at it, like I wanted a goatee. When I retired, I was like, I'm gonna grow a goatee. But it took a year and a half for my mustache and my beard to meet
Hmm.
because I'm Filipino and like genetics are like, no, you're not gonna do that. So, but now I have a full beard. So whatever. It's been a while though.
Speaking of Filipino, I would love to find some halo halo. That is very good.
Bro, now we're talking. Now we're talking. I don't know any good places in Minneapolis.
I will
But
find
boy,
it.
there's yeah, yeah.
Chicken
You let
adobo
me
or I
you are
don't.
well versed. Look at you.
Well, two of my buddies, they're Filipinos, and I was in the Marines with
Yeah.
them, and they were like, "You gotta try balut," and I was like, "What
No.
is that?" I was like, and it was like a little duck egg, and it was like, "Oh, you
Yes.
just put vinegar and salt on it." They were all eating it, and I was just like,
Yeah.
"Absolutely not."
If you're like a visual eater, it ain't gonna happen. If you're a texture person, it ain't gonna happen. If you're purely looking at from a taste point of view, you'd be like, "This is amazing." But I don't really have a problem with texture. But oh,
No,
uh,
I'll eat Jolly Bee all day.
oh, okay. We need to stop talking about food. I feel like every time. So, well, actually, we don't need to stop talking about food. This is my show. So the thing is, like, when I put out a poll like 2 years ago, and I was like, "Hey, I'm really, thinking about launching a podcast, but I'm trying to figure out what I would talk about. Am I going to talk about the military to civilian transition? Am I talking about like data careers? Am I talking about Filipino food?" And then like 87% of the responses were about Filipino food. I was like, get out of here, man. I don't think I can come on here every week for, 9 months, whatever, to talk about like chicken adobo and balut and stuff like that. But And then there are people that I've had on here who've never even had it, and I feel so sad for them. Like, oh, that hurts my heart, right?
I'm about to go look up some Filipino food so I can go get some soon.
Oh yeah, dude. On a hot day, halo halo is the best.
Mm.
So you don't feel like some kind of way being like Latino. You don't feel some kind of way about beans being in a dessert? Because I have friends who are Latino and they're like, that's weird.
No, I don't really care. I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah. So for everybody who doesn't know, halo halo literally means mix, and it's a mixture of all these different things. You have
Like
shaved
flan.
ice. Oh yeah, flan. You have like bits of different tropical fruits. Purple yam. It's called ube. You have beans. You have corn. Or like most places you go, you get, hey, I don't want no beans, I don't want no corn, or I don't want, XYZ, whatever it is. But you mix it all up and then you eat it, and it's so good. And you'll wonder if you get it with beans and corn, you will wonder why you never ate beans and corn as a dessert before. Honestly,
It's
you will
like I
wonder.
haven't eaten in a long time, but it's just like it's just like they just throw like I'll throw some beans in there, and it's like I don't know who thought of it, but it tasted good. I was like, okay, it's something like very different in it. I was like, okay, good enough. We'll eat
Oh
it.
yeah, oh yeah. That after we get off this one, I'm gonna go look around in your area for halo halo, and then I'm gonna make a point to make that one of my travel destinations in the next couple of years. So
Thank you.
maybe we'll meet up and have halo halo together. People get together and have coffee all the time. We can have halo halo. I just have to take a lactate because I'm lactose intolerant.
Hmm.
But like it only sort of bothers me. It really bothers my wife. But that's a different story. Anyway, hey. So Ben, I've had a great time chatting with you on here. I really appreciate you coming on here talking about your journey. I think you really, like I said, you dropped like nuggets, boom, boom, boom. Really, really good, pieces of knowledge for somebody who's thinking about making some kind of career shift, or who is, about to do it, because we've got people getting out of the military and stuff. And so I really appreciate your,
No, thank
you
you.
coming on here, talking about your experience and really giving encouragement to people, and bringing your folks on here to chat with us. That was a lot of fun. And so anyway, I'm going to sign off, everybody, but don't hang up, Abe, because you will talk in the studio. But I'm going to
Okay.
sign off. And everybody else, I will see you next Monday. Next Monday, we have. Oh, no. I don't want to be. I always forget. And I say I always forget. Next Monday, we have Jesse McBride, really good friend of mine. He's a good dude from the DC area who moved down to Mississippi. He was a carpenter, and now he's a pastor. And so we're going to talk to him and talk about all the crazy things, like why are you from the DC area and living on the Mississippi Gulf Coast? But anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Same time, same channel. Peace out.
Peace. See ya.